I want my baby back, baby back, baby back. Hey guys, what's going on? Carter here. Well, I got this in the other day. I've actually been carrying it for the last 2 days, but I figured I'd put it back in the box because I didn't do an unboxing on it. But this is a knife that I have missed greatly since I got rid of the one I had, and so I decided to get another one to replace it. And so here it is. Right there. Paramilitary 2 digital camo. This time I went with the black blade. I gotta say, I think the Para 2 is my all-time favorite general EDC knife. When people ask me, you know, they want something to carry around for just kind of light to medium tasks, you know, something nice but not ridiculously expensive, and they want my recommendation, I almost always go with the Para 2. I think it's just a very well-rounded knife. You know, it's not too big, not too small. It's made in the US, high quality, not ridiculously expensive, especially if you find a good deal on it. There's a few different configurations available if you want black handles, if you want the digital cam, plain blade, black blade. And, you know, of course there's sprint options as well, which I do. I do have a sprint, and I just couldn't bring myself to carry it. It's the blue sprint. And, well, actually I did carry it for like half a day, and that's what made me decide, oh yeah, I gotta get another one of these. Just a really, really great knife. Extremely lightweight, very well built. Just has that nice Spyderco utility blade on there. Great for all kinds of cutting tasks. Full flat grind, which I'm warming up to again. I didn't like it for the longest time, but yeah, warming up to it again. Very cool looking. It has this nice choil you can choke up on. I mean, you guys have seen reviews on these, but you know, I still like to talk about it. As well as the choil acts as a safety feature, which I really like. Even if this lock, the reverse liner lock or compression lock, whatever you want to call it, even if that were to fail, which personally, this is one of my favorite locks, the compression lock. I think it's stronger than a liner lock, and I think it's, you know, it makes for a very smooth opening, but it doesn't have the complexity of, say, the axis lock or the caged ball lock that Spyderco uses. It's still got the simplicity of a liner lock, but I think it functions more effectively. The only downside is if it's not designed correctly, it can cause some issues, comfort issues. One is pinching when you go to open it. It's possible, kind of like, depending on how you grip it, the size of your hand, sometimes you'll get a little piece of skin kind of caught in there when you go to open it, and it'll pinch you. I haven't had that problem with the Para 2, but this is the only knife that I've ever had with the compression lock. I do know some people have had some issues with that. And another thing is some people have comfort issues with disengaging the lock just due to the angle that it's set at, and if it's too much tension on the lock bar. I know some people had some problems with the Yojimbo 2 that has the compression lock. In fact, so much so that they would get rid of it. I haven't had that problem with any of my Para 2s, but once again, it could just be that this is the best implementation of the compression lock out there. Another benefit to the compression lock is you can disengage it without having your fingers in the way of the blade. Similar feature to that of the axis lock or ball bearing cage lock, but like I mentioned, just a much simpler design there. And the lockup on this is just superb. It's a lot harder to see the lockup on here just due to the nature of the design, but you can see right there where it's, where the lock bar is engaging. It's about at 33% right there. And so the actual lock face on these is right there. I don't know if you can see that. And see how it's angled, just like a normal lock face would be angled. It's also a testament to how durable this DLC coating is, because you probably won't see it, but where it actually interfaces with the lock right there, it's just barely wearing off that coating on the lock face, you know, where this is moving into place right there. It's just barely starting to wear that off. So this DLC coating is very nice. Nice thick stop pin, and when I say thick, that is huge. Very huge stop pin. It's got the liners embedded into the G10. So very nice. If there's one thing or a couple things that I don't like about this knife, actually there's only one thing I don't like about it, and that's the pocket clip. I don't like the black coating that they use, the shiny black coating. I mean, I don't see why they can't do a DLC matte coating on there. I think that would just look really nice. But you know, of course, that's a minor aesthetic pet peeve. It's no big deal. Kind of a minor aesthetic. And it's also kind of interesting how, you know, this is meant to be non-reflective. You know, you got the camo G10, non-reflective blade, and yet this compression tab right there is like major blingage. I mean, I think it looks fine, but it's just kind of interesting that, you know, everything's blacked out, but then you've got this shiny piece of steel right here. So just something to think about. Some people might consider that, you know, if they're really looking for a blade that won't stand out or catch light, that will definitely catch light. And the pocket clip kind of does too, as you can see there. But the only other suggestion, I love this knife so much, I wish that Spyderco would kind of use it as their flagship knife. I mean, they kind of have. But one thing I like about Striders is, you know, as far as their folders go, they've got the three main folders, the SMF, SNG, and the PT. For the most part, they're all just different sizes of the same design, especially the SNG and SMF. But they offer a multitude of different finishes and blade shapes. You can get a Tonto, 3/4 Tonto, drop point, 3/4 drop point, Digicam, full black, tiger striped, ghost striped, stone washed, different color G10, the CC version, the double gunner grip version, you know, so there's all these different versions, and I'd really like to see that here. You know, if they'd kind of take this and do maybe a Tonto blade or a 3/4 grind on there, different finish, different scales, you know, and not make it a sprint, just make it a regular option that you can choose. Maybe even, you know, a super beefed up version that's got thicker liners and things like that, maybe a thicker tip on the blade. It gets pretty thin. And this is a pretty strong knife, but I mean, it's got flex. And I'm not talking blade play. I mean, you know, things are thin enough that you can actually kind of flex everything, and you know, these liners you can squeeze and they kind of go in a little bit. It'd be kind of cool if they offered like a hard use, just for fun version, where everything's kind of a little bit more overbuilt, bigger pivots, stuff like that. But anyways, the point is, and this is kind of common with a lot of the bigger knife makers, Kershaw, Spyderco, they kind of go with the new model approach. They'd rather just implement a whole new design rather than implement variations of existing ones, especially like Kershaw. In fact, I was very surprised when they did the carbon fiber version of the 0560 that's coming out soon. I was very surprised. I wasn't expecting that, so that's very cool. But I really like that because there's certain designs that I just love, and this is one of them. And I would like to get kind of variations on this. And like I said, not just a different steel and a different scale color and call it a sprint, but you know, being able to get something that follows the same basic design, but I don't know. You know what I'm saying. I'm kind of wandering. So yeah, anyways, I'm glad to have this back. I've been carrying it for the last few days, playing with it constantly. Just a great knife. I mean, really, it's just one of those, just those go-to knives, you know, that I can't believe I sold mine. I had one with the plain blade. Can't believe I sold it, but this black bladed one is just killer. Just looks sick. Sick, I tell you. Alright guys, take it easy. Yeah, take it easy. Alright guys, later.